even know what I want to talk about. It's just sometimes when I'm driving by myself, I keep just getting into philosophy, getting into my mind, and trying to make sense of all of this. Like, I'm a tattoo artist, and every day pretty much I spend a couple hours talking with people, sometimes 4 or 5 hours, depending on the size of the tattoo. And I get to know people, and I get to kind of like, with my curiosity, ever since I was little, I was very curious, and I was always trying to find out the why of things. But I never had a guide. I was just using this common sense, like scratching common sense here and there, and here and there, and it's probably acting like that through my life, with my friends, with my family, with everything around me, using my common sense. It's kind of like the automatic response that we have. And then later in life, I understood that we have an ego. A lot of people, I hear them talking about ego, or when I ask people about what do you think is ego. So some people said, like, it's those little plastic cubes that you put on top of each other. Those are Legos. But I said ego. And ego is all the information that a newly born person, all the way till he's 7. So from 0 to 7 years old, all of those years are the ones that they infuse us with instructions, per se, if you want to call it like that. It's kind of like when we were born, we have like this empty hard drive that I call soul. But in reality, it's not the soul, it's the mind. Because the soul is the hard drive, but for a different knowledge, the emotional knowledge, the feelings and sensations that life gives us according to our perception. That's the soul. The soul gets imprinted with all this emotional energy that we're going to experiencing through our lives. So our mind is where you store all the logical stuff. That's the ego, the one that knows the cause and the effect. But sometimes our ego is so limited because the lack of knowledge. We only have certain knowledge, and that's the one that is going to rule our life after 7 years old. So imagine that we were born with a blank hard drive. The first second of your life, you come into this world, and then you start hearing noises, feeling the temperatures of the room where you were born, feeling the temperature of the light bulb that is lighting the room. You're hearing the noises, and I mean, you were brought into this world from the womb of your mom, where you spent 9 months being nourished, kept safe, being loved, warm, peace, happy. All of a sudden, 9 months later, you have to come up to this world, and someone snatched you from that beautiful place and brought you over here. This is a beautiful place too, but it's like another step, like another floor in the building of life, if you want to call it like that. So you were going into this second floor of life, which is you being here outside in the third dimension, in the physical dimension. Then I always tell people, if someone asks you what's this baby feeling when he comes out of the womb, according to the scream that he does, what do you think he's feeling? It's like oh my God, what's this? I'm afraid of this. This is new, all these feelings and sensations and temperatures and noises, yeah, that you never heard or felt before. You're like, wow, like, oh my God, this is crazy. So those things are like experiences. So now the baby's having a conscious about those feelings and everything. He's getting used to this world. The first thing that the doctors do is they grab the baby, they put the baby on his mom's arms, he or she. The baby gets into mom's arms, and mom starts talking to the baby, and the baby's like, I recognize this voice, I recognize this heart beating, I recognize this energy. It's the person that I was inside with for these past 9 months. Oh, she's the one that takes care of me. Oh wow, I like her because she takes care of me. She makes me feel fine. She makes me feel good. She makes me feel protected, loved. That's when they say that the first attachment to someone happens. That's the attachment to a person. Forget about that as a mother that's having a baby, but the baby is experiencing the first attachment of his life, feeling the emotions and sensations that this person triggers on him or her. And so the baby is like, I like this person. People say that is love, but in reality, I feel like love doesn't exist as something that is there invisible, something that we've been trying to make sense of it. But I feel like love is just a person that can trigger happy feelings in you. It's energy, this invisible energy that is triggering us by our own perception of things according to our knowledge. Because imagine if instead of putting the baby into his mom, putting the baby by himself in a cradle and allowing him to realize that it's okay to be alone. He's gonna be crying for a little bit, but then he's gonna be like, there's nobody around here to come and hug me and talk to me. There's nobody around here to come and comfort me, And then he's gonna realize it, and he's gonna be like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna experiment this life and these feelings, and now I'm okay. I'm okay to be by myself because I can do this. Can you imagine what crazy of a difference that will make? It will create a person able to love himself in a way that no human has experienced before. But just for that simple action of putting the baby on a woman's arms, because we call that person a mother, and the mother will say, okay, I'm here with you, I'm gonna take care of you, I'm gonna nourish, protect you, and do everything in my power so you can be comfortable. So he likes that. He likes that there is a person that triggers those feelings in him. So his brain is like, okay, I'll be fine because this person is gonna take care of me. And his brain sends signals all over his body to release and to create chemicals, endorphins, and all this chemical process that they are going on inside of the human body so you can make yourself feel good because someone is taking care of you. So that's the first mistake of humans, allowing a kid to believe that mom and dad are going to be there for you forever. And so that generates a information, a conscious, a knowledge about that if something goes wrong, you have to have someone there for you in order for you to feel fine. That is so powerful. It's so powerful because humans, we go through life suffering, believing that we need to have someone there. And it doesn't even have to be a physical, because when you go and you face life, imagine you have let's say the father image. I grew up without my dad. I mean, I have a dad. My dad has been always there, but he was always working and he wasn't around that much. I didn't have a father-son relationship pretty much. I used to see him around and this and that, and I used to talk to him, but he wasn't that expressive. I guess because he came from the same kind of family, I guess. His dad died when he was young, and I don't know much about his relationship with his dad, but I feel like that was the pattern. He allowed me to grow more independent, and I realized at very early age that it was okay to be by yourself, because we are capable of loving ourselves. I was pretty much kind of like forced to see life in a different way, to see life, to see the pretty things in life. Like, I'll go out to the woods, to the local creek, and hang out with my friends. Or sometimes I was okay to hang out with myself, because I felt like I didn't need to have someone there. I didn't need to have the physical presence, or like the fantasy in my head that in order for me to enjoy life, I needed to have the thought that I had my dad in my house, just in case that if something happened, it'll be there for me. No, it wasn't there for me at all. Neither my mom, because my mom had to work too. And I remember that she one day, I was 5 years old, and she took me to kindergarten. And I remember she was telling me, you're gonna have to go back to the house by yourself, because I'm not gonna have time to come and pick you up. And I was like, okay, I guess I can do it if you say so. So she was grabbing my hand, taking me that first day to a kindergarten, and she was showing me everything around. She was like, hey, check it out, that house is pink. So that house means our house is next to that one. Or here in the corner, you're going to turn to the left, and there's a white house right here. And you see this big tree. That means you need to turn to the left here. And I was like, oh, okay. She was kind of like teaching me how to navigate. It was a big lesson. I didn't see it like that back then, but now that I go back in time, that was a big lesson, because I learned from those things. You know, I learned that I'm the owner of my own life, and that I can do everything that I want by myself. And maybe that's why I enjoy to be by myself all the time. I don't really feel like I need the company of someone to make me feel safe, if that makes sense. But that's how it is. You know, our lives don't depend on someone. We don't need someone to come and tells us, "Hey, I love you. Hey, you look beautiful. Hey, you're my sunshine." We don't need anyone to come and hug us, kiss us, gives us money, feed us, take care of us, because we can do those things by ourselves. But I noticed that the world, it doesn't have been the same for everyone. Everyone has different life experiences, and that's what makes life beautiful, because then you learn early and then you can learn late. But that doesn't mean it's wrong or right, because wrong doesn't really exist if you have the perception of seeing life situations as a life learning experiences rather than something that is there for you to hurt you. But that is the big difference, like going through life and being comfortable with yourself, or the other ones being comfortable with you. There's a lot of questions in life, and I've been learning and self observing life, people, behaviors, and emotional things, emotional life, and in a different way, because I use my curiosity and I use my common sense a lot. So I always talk with people about this kind of stuff, like deep stuff, deep mind stuff. So I can probably shed some light into their lives so they can see life in a different way and conduct themselves with ease, in an easier way. So I think I went a little bit over the theme that I was talking about, but that's what I feel like life is. Life is so beautiful in every single way, but I notice some other people, they struggle so much with life. They seem to be lost, and I feel it's because of those things in life and our society as well. Because I notice how some kids, they have this super tight bond with their dads or mothers, and once that leaves because he fell in love of another woman, this kid that had this amazing relationship with his dad, he felt so attached to him. Now he feels like lost. He feels like his dad betrayed him. He feels like he was left out. And and sometimes these kids blame themselves for that kind of stuff. But you see how bad believing that you need someone that you call dad in your life to you be actually happy. That is a crazy contradiction, because we are individuals, and the word individual means you, one, the one self, individual. You're not like dual, you're just one with everything. The sun comes, the moon comes out, the ocean is all around, and all of these things happen with or without your dad. You go to sleep, you can smile, you eat, you can have a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, you can go to the gym, you can watch TV, you can love the way you are. But why you have to have this other person in your life in order for you to feel happy? Why? That's the question of $1 million, the $1 million question. It's we don't really need them. It's just that education, human behaviors, and our parents mostly are being throwing all these ideas into our heads ever since we were born. But why? Ignorance. That's what it is. because they were trained or programmed the same way. Your dad, he has a good relationship with his dad. His dad loved him. He was with him every step of the way in his life. He was present there. And having a good father figure is always good because it infuses you with this invisible confidence. It's almost like building a strong shield around a person, because you're little, you don't know how to protect yourself, but then you have this father figure that is there for you at any moment. And something happens to you, he goes and he protects you. He takes you to the hospital. And if the kid across the street punched you in the face, he goes and he talks with his dad and he puts things straight. And then you're like, oh my God, this guy is my hero. I can do anything because I have this guy in my back. I can go now and punch this kid again and he will do anything for me. I can go and play soccer over there and I know he's over there watching me, looking at me, and I'm very strong with him. You have that idea that you have someone in there for you to have your back in hard moments. And that feeds your ego, your invisible hard drive that you have in your mind, and tells you you have to perceive life this way. You are able to do anything. You're like super confident. You are strong-minded. You pretty much don't have fear of anything because you know that you have your dad in your life, and that is the image of the guy that is making you feel that way. It's like giving you a boost of confidence. You're outgoing. That's kind of like the character that having a father figure builds. So you're that kind of person, you know what I'm talking about. But what happens if at early age someone removes your dad from your life? How is it gonna make you feel? Especially if you're a woman. Women go through life with that kind of feeling if they have that kind of experience. That's why they feel themselves sometimes like they need to find a man to replace the one that was gone. And that's why they are so attached to the man, because their subconscious mind is always telling them, you feel unprotected. You went through your life abandoned by this man that you call dad, by the man that's supposed to be there for you all the time and make you feel safe, protected, and loved. But he left. He left because he loved someone else. And now you have to see life in a different way. And now you have to see life for what it is. But because you don't have anyone that has the knowledge to tell you that it is okay for you to be alone, because the world spins with or without him, and you live and you can create a beautiful life of your own for yourself without this person, because this person is only an imaginary guardian that only exists in your mind, because society keeps telling you that you need to have a dad in your life in order for you to be protected. Even sometimes I saw in school kids were bullying the other kids because they didn't have a dad or because they didn't have a mom. It was crazy. So all of those tiny things feed our invisible hard drive in our mind, and we perceive life in a different ways according to the things that we learn through our life. So we react to life based on the things that we learn from our past. That's the ego. Imagine that our ego, it's an invisible library of experiences, that when a situation in your life comes up, you go back immediately, almost automatically, to this invisible library to find a way on how you have to react to life. And that's how you do. And if someone throws a ball at you because you're playing soccer, and you see the ball, it's a new experience. You never had that experience before in your life, so this is your new experience. But you're afraid because you don't know what to do with the ball. You don't have the courage of running behind or kicking the ball. But the kid that he was playing soccer at early age, and his dad was with him, cheering, like cheering him from the sidelines, like, hey, yes, you can do it. He was like, I can do this, I'm strong. Nothing's gonna happen to me because I have this guy that he takes care of me. And if he goes and plays soccer, he has in his library instructions of how to face that kind of stuff. But if you don't have that, you're not gonna know how to do it. And that's when fear comes up. Fear shows up, and when fear shows up, what do? We do everything in our power to not to do that, to not disturb our peace. And so we just run away. Next day you're like, oh, I don't really like soccer that much anymore, so I'm just not gonna go. Well, I don't like that job that much. I'm not gonna go. Because there are people there that they say things and you don't like them. But why you don't like them? Because you didn't have information in your invisible library of how to react to different people in your life or different situations in your life. Oh, I don't like that gym because there is a person that makes me feel uncomfortable there. That he looks at me like he wants to eat me or something like that because I'm wearing these tiny shorts. And there's another lady there that she has an even tinier shorts than yours, and she's so comfortable working out next to this guy. But you see the difference here? It's the information that you have in your life and your invisible library that makes the difference. That's what it is. That's the only thing that matters here. The knowledge that we have from that we acquire ever since we were little. So that's just a fantasy right there. And of course, fear is one of those things that makes us feel uncomfortable, and because it's a new thing, we don't want to feel it. We just want to feel nice things. We want to be in our pink box, feeling safe, and all that stuff. And when someone comes into your pink box and it's like, hey, who's there? Oh, it's you. I'm a new friend. I'm a new person. I want to be your friend. Let me pull you, pull you out of your box a little bit and let's go hang out. You're like, no, I'm fine right here. Don't worry. I'm fine. My dad left me, and all of a sudden you go into your invisible library and you remember when your dad left, it was a man, and it makes you feel horrible. You were crying for a couple of weeks until today. You don't know what to do. You just want to avoid every freaking man in your life because you feel like if you become a friend of someone or if you became too close of a man, you don't want to experience those feelings, the abandonment, because you're afraid of them. And that's how the father abandonment affects a person. And the solution to that is just to see it as another life learning situation, that it was there for you to allow you to know yourself. But know yourself how? By experiencing the feelings that develop inside of you when you feel the abandonment. Because you didn't like them, you just pushed them away. And then you were going through your life pushing these feelings away and away and away, to the point that now you're like 25 years old and you don't want to have a boyfriend or girlfriend. But you don't want to do it because you don't want to go through the pain of being abandoned again and feeling these feelings. So that is the problem right there, feeling these feelings. That is the solution to the thing. Because you cannot call it problem, because problems don't exist. They exist only if you label them as problems. They're not. They're just life situations that show up in your life to let you know that you have feelings and that it's okay for you to feel them. You know, if you all of a sudden find a person that wants to be your friend, he or she, you need to allow yourself, you see, yourself, to feel those feelings that you've been pushing away forever, ever since your dad left. They're there. It's just that you don't want to feel them. That's why you avoid relate yourself with people. That's why you avoid going to play soccer or going out with someone, because your subconscious mind is always telling you, be careful. Try to avoid to fall deep into this relationship, because if they leave, I don't want to feel those feelings. Those are the feelings that we want to push away from our life. Well, no, the solution is for you to experience. Allow yourself to feel, embrace, live, love all these feelings, because those feelings are ultimately the soul experiences. That's why we're here in this physical reality, not to experience physical things or to learn a trade, or to find a good job, or to become this, become that, become super popular, become whatever it is that you want to become in this world. That doesn't even matter at all. We're in this world to experience life. Life is full of emotions and feelings, and those are the most valuable things that you need to understand, that those are the things that we need to feel, experience, and love. And that's self-love right there. Because all these feelings are, of course, are triggered by someone, but because inside of your invisible library are the instructions of, like, you need to perceive these life situations in a certain way. It's just you. It's your own perception of things, your own instructions. We're writing the book of instructions for life every single day, and at every single time ever since we were born, from 0 to 7. All these first 7 years of your life, those were the ones that gave you all the instructions that you use now to face your life. That's what it is. But then you have to go through life and relearning everything. Somebody along the way told you that it wasn't okay to feel your feelings, that crying was bad for you, or that opening yourself to people and be yourself is bad. That is the problem. We learn the wrong things all along. We go through life and almost automatically rejecting life. Even when something even so insignificant comes up, like I noticed one day, me and a group of friends, we were trying to go to the movies when I was a teenager, and it was Matrix, I think, the first movie. I think that's what it was, yes. So one of my friends worked at the movie theater, and he was like, "Hey guys, I have tickets for everyone. Let's go." And one of the girls was like, "What are we gonna see? Are we gonna see this sci-fi movie? It's called Matrix." "Oh no, I don't like those movies because they kill people and they make me think too much. I don't like that. I don't want to see them. Let's go see some Disney movie. They made me happy." And everybody were like, "Well, those things are awesome." And it's like, "No, I'm not going." I didn't understand it back then, but she was just like closing themselves to the possibility of probably seeing the best movie of her life, just because someone told her that that kind of stuff was bad, and that it makes you feel uncomfortable, and that you don't want to see them. But that's life, you know. Those things exist, and rejecting the fact that those things exist is rejecting the mere essence of life, the basic essence of life. We're here to experience every single thing, every single thing. So I leave you with this, and embrace, feel, love, and live your emotions. Because once you do that, your soul is creating a conscious about things, and knowledge is created, and then your invisible library is expanding a new pathway with thousands of books of new knowledge, and then you'll be able to face the same situation whenever it appears in your life again, with a different view, with a more loving view. So don't go through life feeling like all the things that happen in your life, they're bad. They're only bad because you want them to be bad. But in reality, they are things for you to learn. That's what it is. Bye and have a good day.